Bourbon Bio. So many of you have reached out. I've spoken to you a lot on the phone as well, via direct message here, and have just asked me a bunch of questions. Let's answer as many as we can. Happy 4th of July, by the way. First question I get the most of is, what do you do? So for about 9 years now, I've owned a company called Design Thumbprint here in Oklahoma City. We service the entire country. It's a marketing agency. And basically, if you're a business, especially in the professional service space, holler at your boy. Our goal is to help make you rich. Through that agency, we got hit up to do some fundraising efforts, did a lot of research, and I just decided to go with bourbon. And we started doing some high-end bourbon giveaways to help raise money for charity. Fast forward almost 5 years later, we're still here. And so the whole purpose of this page is to build a community around bourbon, but mainly just kind of raise awareness for what we do. And again, a majority of what we do, proceeds go back to charity. To date, we've given back over about $1.5 million to various charities around the country, something we're very proud of. What are my go-to daily drinker bottles, if you will? Elijah Craig and Weller Special Reserve are always at my house, always on rotation. That's typically what I sip at home, a little bit less proof. Both can be found for easily less than 30 bucks where I'm at. I just enjoy both of those bottles. That's really what I keep at home. What is my favorite brand in bourbon? This fluctuates sometimes, but I'm gonna say Old Forester. From top to bottom, I've just enjoyed everything that I've had from them. Very classic. It kind of fits my ideal flavor profile. A little bit sweeter, a little bit more dessertish. I just love the lineup. I love the story. I love the distillery. How often do I drink bourbon? Not often at all, to be honest with you. I've got a 1-year-old son, Nash, and a 4-year-old son, Noah, at home, who basically just keep me busy and suck out all my energy. So a majority of the time that I'm doing any drinking is here when I'm doing a review. Maybe once every week or two, if I'm lucky at home, I'll have a pour, but that's about it. How many bottles do I own? I'm not completely sure. If I'm calculating, I think it's somewhere around 250 to 300. So a lot of what you see behind me, we have another office here that has a bunch of different boxes full as well. I'm a drinker, I'm not a collector. So I drink everything. Everything is open with the exception of some of these high-end bottles that you see here that aren't open are already allocated to a raffle, again, designed to give away to you guys to raise money for charity. Link in our bio again, check it out. And maybe some others that aren't open are just backups to ones that I like that already are. So sometimes I buy some backups if I can find a good deal. But yeah, I'd say about 250 to 300 bottles all open. If you're ever passing through Oklahoma City, holler at me, I'll drink some with you. What do I consider the greatest bottle of all time? Okay, so I've been drinking bourbon neat or straight, let's call it, for about 11, 12 years. The best I've ever drank is a Pappy Van Winkle 15 year, which it wasn't, but that's what it is. It is phenomenal. It's worth the hype. I've had the entire lineup all the way up to the 25 year as well, but the 15 is just, to me, the best bottle ever made. Once you get beyond that 15-year age statement in bourbon, for me, it gets a little bit too oaky, a little bit too bitter. I thought that was right in the pocket, right in the sweet spot. Greatest bottle of all time, in my opinion, Pappy Van Winkle 15 year. What do I think is the most underrated bottle of all time? I could insert probably 10 bottles here, but for today's purposes, I'm gonna go with this one, Cooper's Craft. If you haven't had it, it's fantastic. To me, and this bottle's about 30 to 35 bucks. This bottle drinks a lot more expensive. It tastes really good. It's right in that 100 proof pocket. We had a bunch of blind tasters come in and do some taste tests, and this won out every single time. It's the same distiller, same process they used at with Jack Daniel's Sinatra. So again, the process here is typically replicated for a much higher level bottle. This is just really good stuff. What's the most money I've ever spent on a bottle? 300 bucks. And to me, that was a lot. I don't look at bourbon as like the nectar of the gods. I don't geek out and think I have to have certain things. Do I enjoy it? Of course I do. I love, and I've tasted lots of those higher end things, but if you watch my content, a lot of it is trying to be informative on stuff that you guys can find. I want you to be able to relate to it. So yes, there's great bottles up there, but I don't have to have it. It's not something that I highly seek out. At the end of the day, this stuff to me is just still alcohol. It's great, but it's alcohol. It stays in my body for a very small period of time. I'm not gonna go and drop tons and tons of money on it. It just doesn't change my life like that. And last, what is my favorite part about bourbon? For me, it has really nothing to do with the bourbon. It's just the communal aspect. I think the bourbon community is extremely generous, extremely fun. There's nothing I enjoy better than going to a buddy's house or a tasting and just sitting around with a bunch of people telling stories. And famous Freddie at Buffalo Trace, and I always echo that, always says that the bourbon is just a byproduct of great company. So for me, it's the experience around the bourbon. So the bourbon obviously is good. We all enjoy it, but I just love getting to meet new people. I've made some of my best friends drinking bourbon, and I always love watching someone drink it for the first time, people describing different notes that they're tasting that really help all of us understand what it is. But really, it's just the fellowship around it and the friendships around it that I love the most. Again, the bourbon is just a byproduct of a great community like you guys. So a little bit about myself, just wanted you guys to understand kind of where I'm coming from when I'm doing all this stuff. Again, I can't say it enough. We love you guys. Thanks for all your support. And again, have a happy 4th of July.